the other day, I went outside and I had long since given up on my garden, and I saw that most of the plants were dead. It's been kind of a challenging year personally, and something just told me, go outside, go in the back, and that's where my small container garden is. And I go in the back, thinking I'm gonna just pull up a few dead plants just because it'll make it easier for next year, and it's warm and it's fall here, so it's mostly cold. So it was a rare warm day. And I go out after successfully and unsuccessfully gardening this year. And I first see that the zinnias that I had died back, but then some were budding again, and to the point of flowering. And I almost couldn't believe it. Then I went and looked some more, and I saw I had some elephant ears that I thought had died, and they were still there. And we'd had several frosts. Um, but then I saw a tomato, which we struggle to grow because of the container, because of the soil. Um, there's several challenges to growing like nice, really strong tomato plants and big tomatoes. And I look, and in the crack of the brick in the ground that is rocky is this really, really long, maybe like a foot or two long tomato plant with small tomatoes on it that are green. Mind you, we've had several frosts and um, lots of flowers on it. And it's just laying on the ground, untouched and completely healthy, like the strongest plant that I had ever had. And in there, I was met with a few thoughts that I thought I would share. The first is that the plants want to grow. There's been so many times I've gardened, and I started gardening when I was in an apartment and I didn't really have a lot of money, and but I really felt that this is what I should do. So I built an indoor garden, put it on my credit card. It was during the pandemic or shortly after, and I just felt really strongly this is what I should do. And I put some shop lights. Like I just was limited on money, limited on space, but I knew I had to figure out a way, and I made it work. I had stuff grow, but it was just so challenging. And even though fundamentally I understood that it was probably because you don't have the right, equipment to make it flourish the way it wants to flourish, you still feel this personal jab of like, maybe something's wrong with me. And then, I finally found a deck, my mother's deck to grow on, and that was a shaded apartment. So same problem, insured. Stuff kind of grew. It took a long time, but it kind of grew. And you can't help but think maybe it's me. I came to this location, same thing, and I'm watching everybody else's garden flourish, but things are growing a little bit easier because it has full sun. We live in a house now. Like, there's a little bit more ease, but still, because it's in containers, it's not in the proper space, it is a little bit more challenging than growing in the ground. And I would see people with all of these volunteer plants, and just things are so wild and growing so beautifully, and everything was such a struggle, and you can't help but internalize, what if something is wrong with me? And so when I saw that there were not only one, but several, because my cilantro also started growing back, plants that not only went to seed, came back, or died back and came back, it made me think the plants want to grow, especially that tomato plant, because they're frost tender. And the fact that it was growing in the hard soil that was compacted and has all sorts of things in the middle of the crack of the brick was even more amazing. And so I feel to tell you, the plant wants to grow. And I'm not necessarily referring to plants. I'm referring to life. That there is nothing wrong with you. That sometimes when you let things go, that they grow, something stronger grows in its place. And what you wanted is right there if you just let go. The plant wants to grow.